My goodness, what an epiphany at number 29 on my fantasy playlist. Man, I just loved this thing back in the summer of 2005. I could not get enough of it. You talk about a nostalgic tour de force. Waiting for a Star to Fall or Just a Star to Fall by Cabin Crew. It was a remix of it was a remix of the Boy Meets Girls classic in 1988, Waiting for a Star to Fall. As a matter of fact, one of the members of Boy Meets Girl, George Morel, he redubbed. He put his vocals on the remix by the Cabin Crew that I'm going to play for you at number 29, up 3 notches from 32. Now, first off, Cabin Crew, they were a dance music duo. They're from Australia. And it consisted of Van Garden and Rob Kidler. I think it's just Kidler. Kittler. Can't read my chicken scratch again. It's just all a mess. But the thing about this, what makes this song such an epiphany? The original version was an absolute epiphany. Boy Meets Girl, first off, a little history on Boy Meets Girl. It consisted of Shannon Rubicam and George Merrill. They wrote hit songs for Whitney Houston. They wrote How Will I Know? And they wrote I Want to Dance with Somebody. And they wrote this song. This song, Waiting for a Star to Fall, was inspired by a Whitney Houston concert at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. It's one of these Greek arena things it was open air. There was a dome, but it was basically open air. And that night, after Whitney Houston did I Want to Dance with Somebody, now George Merrill and Shannon Rubicam, they were in the audience. There were like 8,000 people in front of them. And Shannon Rubicam, she looked up, and she saw this. It was starry night, beautiful night. She saw this star just go across, she saw this meteorite or this star just going across the sky. And she wrote the line, "I'm waiting for a star to fall," and she put the line in her purse. And later on, when after the concert, she told her husband George Merrill, "We have to write a song about this, waiting for a star to fall." They came up with a record, and they sent it to Clive Davis, president of Arista Records. They wanted Whitney Houston to cut it. Made sense because it was Whitney Houston's concert that inspired the record. But Clive Davis, who signed Whitney Houston in 1981, he turned it down. He said that Whitney Houston, they didn't need it because they were taking Whitney Houston in a different direction. Therefore, George Merrill and Shannon Rubicam thought, well, we'll do the song. We'll do it ourselves. And now it's just lovely that they did this, and 17 years later, it's forgotten now by a lot of people. I don't think this is really for the American audience. The Cabin Crew, Waiting for a Star to Fall, their version of it went to number 4 in England back in 2005. Number 29 on my fantasy playlist, July 25th, 2005.